Time. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. A good day to be a Duck. It's great to be back with you after spending a not so many fun days in Las Vegas with Oregon men's basketball. We're hoping that Oregon's next trip to Las Vegas will be a heck of a lot more fun because Oregon football is getting set for a rematch with Utah in the Pac-12 Championship game. It's going to be a 5 o'clock kickoff. It's on ABC. That means a 3 o'clock pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. We're going to hear from guys like Joe Moorhead, Tim DeRuiter, and a whole lot more with Terry Johns on that pregame show. Leading up to that kickoff on Friday, we've got Duck Insider Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then on Friday, we'll be setting up for football. We'll be doing the broadcast. And oh, by the way, we've got some men's and women's basketball action here in Eugene leading up to that kickoff as well. Both men's and women's basketball teams, after rough tournaments over the Thanksgiving week, the Ducks looking for a bounce back, and we're going to talk about that over the course of the week. Head Coach Mario Cristobal just wrapped up his press conference with the media. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, literally the Zoom meeting file converted the recording that Scott is now loading into the system as we speak to you. He just wrapped up. The Ducks were in Spiders this morning. Remember, it's a shortened practice week because it's a Friday kickoff, and actually advantage Utah because Utah played Colorado on Friday. So the Ducks actually have a little bit of a shorter time frame to get ready for this Utah team, and they already had a shorter time frame because it was a Friday kickoff. So the Ducks were in Spiders today. That means just shells, no full pads. Ducks went through practice this morning. They'll be back on the practice fields tomorrow. And actually, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Moses and I's Quack Minute will be coming at you this afternoon. So feel free to head to GoDucks.com as well for Rob's practice report, what happened out at practice today. Ducks found rhythm against Oregon State. There's no doubt about that. And it was great to see that for the Ducks, including some performances that garnered Pac-12 awards this week. We'll talk about that. Before we get into all the football nuts and bolts, though, shout out Oregon Volleyball. Let's go Ducks. For the 18th time in program history, the Oregon Volleyball team has advanced to the NCAA tournament. That was announced last night. Ducks, unfortunately, not hosting. They were just outside that hosting threshold, but Oregon looking really good in their bracket. We're going to hear from Matt Ulmer coming up in just a moment. So as Coach Cristobal said, and we're going to get into all the nitty-gritty with him in just a moment, the Ducks did find some offensive rhythm, really did find some offensive rhythm, especially after Oregon ran the ball well on the first drive against Oregon State. That's what you love to see. Dye scored on a play. Travis Dye made it 7-0. Suddenly, it's 14-0 on what was one of the best throws you will see. Anthony Brown for 50 yards through the air. He had the first down if he took it with his legs. But he got the touchdown, throwing it over the top to Devin Williams. Heck of a throw. Suddenly, it's 14-0. Beavs got on the board with a field goal, but then Oregon answered with a field goal of their own. And I thought that subtly that was a big moment for Camden Lewis. Was probably in the back of his mind after he had a tough kickoff against Utah, missed a field goal against Utah, his first miss of the year, and he just made it look easy, as he often does. And then Anthony Brown on that keeper made it 24-3, and I think every Duck fan everywhere was like, okay, whew, this feels a lot better than it did against the Utes. Now, of course, Oregon State, being the team that they are, scored on the drive. I don't understand why they went for 2 as often as they did. I'll be honest, I was trying to figure that out basically the entire game. But Oregon, although things got maybe a little closer than the Ducks would have liked in the third quarter with a 31-21 tally, the Ducks answered. Every time Oregon State tried to get a little momentum, the Ducks answered. They did not let things snowball like they did against Utah. Ducks answered, drove down, they scored. It was 38-21. And then Verone McKinley, though, man, this was the deep breath moment and exhale of the game. Verone McKinley got called for targeting, got overturned. Then the Ducks scored a touchdown, gave up a touchdown on the scoring play. A punch was thrown by an Oregon State player. Suddenly it's 38-27. Then they went for 2. A penalty got called, and then it's 38-29, and it was like, oh boy. But the Ducks recovered the onside kick to wrap it up. And sure, would it be nice to have won the game 38-9? Yes, but the Ducks won the game, and the Ducks answered every time there was a little bit of momentum, and I think you credit Oregon for that. The Ducks are the North champions, and now they're getting ready to take on Utah. 5 o'clock kickoff on Friday, 3 o'clock pregame show for us here on the Oregon Sports Network. Game recap, you're going to want to hear, if you have not yet, hear how Jerry and Jorgie called this one. They had some fun.
Motion comes all the way across the formation. Give it to Dye. First down. How about a touchdown? We don't need no first down. We need a touchdown. No, it was Cardinal out to the left and back to throw. Brown pressured, running. Oh, he could have run it. Yeah, receiver wide open. Touchdown. Don't run it. Don't run it. Don't run it. Don't run it. Devin Williams. And Dye in the backfield with Brown on 1st and goal from the 10. The snap, going to be a keep up the middle. There goes Anthony. Touchdown, Oregon. Maybe. Yep, Anthony Brown picks his way. Little delay, quarterback draw. Snap. And to throw. Over the middle. Touchdown, Oregon. Touchdown, Chris Hudson. Touchdown, Ducks. And again, a bullet of a throw.
Young man coming of age pretty quickly at that wide receiver position.
Snap, turn, Cardwell up the middle, got away, 20, 15, 10, just didn't quite get there. Stepped out at the 3-yard line. Motion man, Norton, give the ball to Dye. Touchdown, Travis Dye. Touchdown, Oregon. Both teams will come off the side. Oregon will win the 2021 rivalry game, 38-29, the final score. How about we go to the Pac-12 Championship game next weekend? How's that sound?
Sounds great. Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen on the call. Don't run it! Don't run it! Oh, that was a great call. The Ducks getting the win. Good job by Scott Phillips putting it together. Well done. Another game recap. 38-29, so now the Ducks earn that right to play Utah. They've clinched the Pac-12 North Division, reached Pac-12 Championship game for the 3rd straight season, secured the 12th 10-win season in program history, and the 2nd under head coach Mario Cristobal. Offense scored 30-plus points for the 8th time this season. Defense did not allow a touchdown in the first half for the first time since the 2019 Pac-12 Championship game against Utah. We'll see how that goes. Devin Williams, career high, 6 receptions, 110 yards for a touchdown. God, that was a great throw and catch. Absolutely awesome. And then Trequez Bridges hauled in another interception for this Oregon team that is now continuing to be a real ball-hawking defense. And Verone McKinley is still tied for the FBS lead with his 5-6 interceptions, and he almost had another one. Anthony Brown is this week's Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week after his 23 of 28 performance, 275 yards, couple touchdowns. He also carried the ball 14 times for 83 yards and a score, a career high with an 82.1 completion percentage on a minimum of 10 attempts, and the highest completion percentage by an Oregon quarterback since a guy named Marcus Mariota back in 2014 completed 84% of his passes. Anthony Brown, big reason why the Ducks were so effective on 3rd down. The Ducks were very good on 3rd down. They looked like Utah did against Oregon a couple weeks ago on 3rd down. That's a big key, I think, this week. 3rd down offense for the Ducks. Got to get those conversions. And 3rd down defense. Impressive. Chris Hudson, also a big reason why Anthony Brown had a nice day. Career high 7 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. First of his collegiate career for Chris Hudson, which is pretty darn cool. Byron Cardwell, 6 times, 43 yards, 7.2 yards per carry. That's just what that guy does. And Travis Dye, 99 yards on 20 carries, 2 touchdowns, also had 4 catches, 39 yards, and went over 1,000 rushing yards on the season for the first time in his career, raising his 2021 total to 1,036. Love to see it from Travis Dye. Awesome, awesome, awesome. The Pac-12 North Champions tickets are on sale. Public tickets go on sale at 5 p.m. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, 5 p.m. is when the Oregon allotment of tickets go on sale for the Pac-12 Championship game. If you are listening to the show on one of our OSN affiliate stations later in the evening, go now! Tickets are available. You can go get them now. If you are part of the season ticket holder or Duck Athletic Fund group, actually check your email because you already got a personalized link here today. 5 p.m., though, is when tickets go on sale on GoDucks.com. All right. When we come back, I know a lot of people asking about injuries, rumors, things that we call the carousel. We're going to talk about all that because Mario Cristobal got asked about it. The Oregon football head coach, our press conference is loaded into the system. That's for you next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. All right, I know a lot of you have questions. I've seen the comments section. Mario Cristobal going to answer a lot of them. We talked to the media for about 25 minutes today, and we've got it all for you here as they just wrapped up in the Hatfield-Dowland Complex Media Center. Let's hear from Coach Cristobal.
Okay. All right, guys. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. Certainly coming off of Saturday. Really appreciate the way our guys came out and played hard. And proud of the way they got it done against our in-state and biggest rival. The fans were awesome. Great to have Autzen close it out that way for the seniors for the home schedule as well. And immediately got to refocus on our next opportunity. It was important to earn this opportunity. And now, again, preparations began immediately for our opponent this coming Friday. And that being said, questions.
Let's open it to questions. Let's see some hands. We'll start with A.J. Jacobson from Rivals.
Coach, you had the opportunity to play this Utah team not too long ago. What are the biggest takeaways you take from that first matchup to carry over to this Friday?
They are a big, physical, disciplined football team that plays hard, plays with physicality, violence, very assignment conscious, technique and fundamentally sound, explosive players on special teams, offense and defense, create negative plays, issues in protection, just a really complete football team, excellent football team.
James Crapia, the Oregonian.
Mario, I wanted to get an update on a couple of guys. Obviously, Noah and Mike Hale, who went down during the game. Keith, who missed the game again, and DJ Johnson, who missed the game. Just what is the latest, particularly on Noah and Mike Hale?
Yeah, Noah, Mike Hale, and DJ are all good to go for this week. Keith Braun, it'll be a game time decision. It's going to be close.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
Coach, what does it say about your program and its direction when you're playing in these games now 3 straight years? You're playing for conference championships. You've won the past 2. We'll see what happens on Friday, but just the trajectory of this program to be in these every year.
Well, I think, again, credit to the players, credit to the coaches, because regardless whether it was a coordinator change, position coach change, new players and new roles, it validates all the things that we message, that we say. You know, we don't ever go out and proclaim an opportunity earned without earning it. And I think it's important to get to this part of the season when you're playing meaningful football, championship football, that it validates a lot of hard work, and it also inspires guys to be more motivated and hungrier to continue accomplishing some really, some of our top goals that we start off the entire offseason with. So all this has been in play and in the works since January to get here and earn this opportunity to go out there and play our very best. So everyone in the program, everyone in the organization is looking forward to the challenge and the opportunity.
Miguel Tahaje from Endzoners.
Hey, hi, Coach. What is the message you give to your players leading up to this game with this big conference championship game, and how big of the role does your last matchup against Utah play in that message?
Well, we keep most of our messaging behind closed doors. It's pretty intense, and we get after it pretty good. But as the season went on, it's like a lot of teams that get to this point in time, I'm not sure the number. It's a very small number of teams that are actually playing this weekend and playing for a conference championship, both at the Group of 5 and the Power 5 level. And what you'll find is, like many teams, the strength of our team is the actual team itself, the resiliency, the togetherness, the ability to fight through adversity, to replace guys that have gone down with season-ending injuries and continue forging forward, to overcome some bad quarters of football and play really good quarters of football, and to just keep moving forward. So all that, I think, is really important to mention, because we do feel that is a strength of our team, and playing together and playing with really intense physicality, focus, and concentration is always going to play a big role in a game like this.
Matt Preen, 247 Sports.
Mario, I hope you're doing good. How is, just when you played an opponent just 2 weeks ago, the freshness of that, is that beneficial, even though the game maybe didn't end out the way you guys hoped it? Knowing schemes, knowing tendencies, is that still fresh in your mind, even though you played just 2 weeks ago?
Well, I think as the year goes on, every week there's always, whether it be a fair amount or just a tinge of carryover from week to week as it relates to people playing you. I mean, sometimes it's drastically different, when you watch Oregon State, Washington State, and all the stunts and live movements that they have, that's different, but there's a significant amount of pressure, from Utah on first and second down, as well as third down. Some great exotic looks on third down that are hard to block. So I think there's always carryover. There's always retention, but it is a brand new game with coaches that are working on both sides, because everybody wants it, right? Everybody wants it and wants it bad. So there's always going to be something extra, right? There's going to be a wrinkle. There's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be a different look. There's going to be a different play, a scheme, whatever it may be. So the preparation, yeah, there's some, but you have to prepare for what you see. You have to probably spend a lot of time self-scouting to see how people have attacked you throughout the entire season, because whatever has hurt you is bound to show up in a championship game, right? Whatever has affected you and what you do and what is your staple is bound to show up. So all the combination of all those things are things that we prepare for, and and we had a great day of practice today. So we're looking forward to tomorrow.
Zach Neal, Ducks Wire.
Coach, you said a few weeks ago that there was still a chance that Bennett Williams might return this season. We saw him without a walking boot or crutches this last week, and I'm wondering if there's an update there.
He's getting better. He won't be available for this game, but we do see him available for after this game. So he's been I mean, a lot of guys are looking really, really good. I wish off the top of my head I could remember. Got a lot of injuries this year. Guys have been out for a while, but we feel like there's a handful of guys that can play in about 3 weeks.
Julian Minenzon, KZI.
Mario, how important are guys like Kayvon? I know Johnny and Jalen won't play, but guys like that who have been through 2 of these Pac-12 championships now, from a locker room perspective for going into this one?
Well, the most important thing in the locker room is making sure that our very best players have our best week of practice, that challenge themselves, challenge your teammates to have their very best week of preparation. And then on game day, make sure that it's all poured into them, their execution, doing their job and doing it really, really well, right? It's a big difference in just doing it and doing it really, really well. So, I mean, championship football is, there's a big gap between this and the next game, right? And so I think everyone around the country that has this opportunity coming up this weekend, they're going to find a way to bring out their very best. And certainly that relates to Kayvon, that relates to Jamal Hill, that relates to Stephen Jones. You name it, you can go right down the list. There are guys that have played in some big games and they get bigger. And right now, this is the biggest game we've played in because it's the next game. And it just so happens this next game is for the Pac-12 Championship for 2 teams that have worked really hard to earn the opportunity. And really honored to be in this situation and extremely fired up for the opportunity.
Antoine Staley, the register guard.
Hey, Coach, I know you can't speak about specific players, but how has the recruiting process been just in turn all year, especially considering like you're playing for a conference championship and also you have national signing day, an early period coming up as well?
Yeah, well, I think it was mentioned earlier. I think that we've shown that we're a consistent program, consistent in what we say that we're going to do, consistent in the way we validate our goals, consistent in the way our players are developing and going on to the NFL for some really, impressive accolades, Thorpe Award candidates, Nagurski candidates. We've had Outland winners, Morris Trophy winners. Those things they speak really loudly. It's not about, and we really believe that in substance. This is a program that's built on hard work, toughness, physicality, and doing it right. And when you do it right and you have the right people, those things become a reality. So recruiting continues to, the upward trajectory continues. We expect another strong finish in recruiting. We work at it relentlessly, and we have a lot of great young players as well. So and we're excited for the present time. We're excited for the future, proud of the past, but all eyes and every ounce of focus is really on this game and every ounce of preparation that goes into it.
Shane Hoffman, Daily Emerald.
I know you don't want to get into messaging too much. You talked about how kind of hard that plane ride back was, and then Barone talked about the practices that followed after Utah. What was that scene like? Are you giving them a message right then, or are you kind of letting them sit in it as an unsaid thing and then just kind of attacking the practice? What was that like?
You just like we talked about before, you're just very real with it. When the exact timing was of delivery, I can't remember. We don't shoot from the hip. We're just very real. So we kept our normal schedule. It's the best way I can say it, just right between the eyes, man, messaging that's real and truthful and honest. And I wish I had a better answer for you. I just, timeline wise, when and exact delivery, I can't think of at the moment. But we do keep very diligent files on all those things, because those are learning lessons. Those are teaching moments that, you could lean on, sometime later on. I know that I've leaned on several instances that I've, or experiences at other places that somehow show up again as we go forward. So apologize for not having a great answer there, buddy.
Tyson Alger, I-5 corridor.
Hey Mario, that 2019 title game, that was like one of the first games that we really saw Kayvon completely take over a game. And I'm curious, like, what did you learn about him in that game, freshman Kayvon, and how does he take over a game differently now, evolved 2 years later in your guys' program than he did that year as a freshman?
Well, I think back then he didn't have the attention that he's getting now from offenses, right? Now you see a chip block. Now you see the line sorting that way. You see a back coming, and also, tight ends and running back chips, which, make it a little bit more difficult. But he's just continued to grow, and even though I think people always are concerned about statistics and sacks, I think if you watch him, the way he affects the quarterback is just as important than the sack itself. Forcing a ball out early, a quarterback hit, a pressure that now makes the other team slide the protection, account for him, change what they do depending on what hash they are, because they feel he might be to the field, he might be to the boundary, he might line up in the middle. Because he continues to grow from a football IQ standpoint. We do a lot more things with him. He's, as good as it gets in the country. Wants to always work hard, wants to win. And, it's, as the games go on, you see more and more, production from him in a lot of different ways. So, and it's time for him and it's time for the entire team to play our best football.
Jared Denny, Scoop Duck on 3.
Hey, Mario, one last injury question. I'm wondering if there's anything new on Keon Ware Hudson, or if he's going to be available to come back at some point.
I don't know if he'll be available to come back for this game. I don't think he will.
James.
Both teams use a lot of tight ends, Mario, this past week, and then obviously Utah as well. But what do you see in how you guys defended the tight end sets, both on the ground and in the air? Obviously, they did a lot of boots and stuff with those guys this past week. And how can you better defend Keithy in particular and what he was able to do against you guys a couple weeks ago?
Sure. Well, we're not going to get into schematics, on a call, but obviously that's what they do, and we got to do a better job.
Tight ends are definitely going to be a key in this game. I thought the Ducks did some good things defending Oregon State's tight ends, but Utah's tight ends certainly were a problem for the Ducks, and Mario Cristobal knows that. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute Research Center. Every time we talk with the coaches, fight like a duck with cancer care, you can count on. That was not it for Coach Cristobal's press conference. A ton more, a lot of good questions still to come, including what the last 48 hours were like for him because he had to fly to see his mom. We're going to tell you about that next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy, no matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey cheesy crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously, but as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Dear Exit Strategy, no matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
These are the sounds of a dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. We've got more from head coach Mario Cristobal. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff for the Ducks against the Utes. It's a rematch from a game a couple weeks ago, though this one not in Salt Lake City. This one's in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Coach Cristobal was just talking about tight ends, how you defend them. Some of the other keys for this 5 o'clock game against the Utes as Mario Cristobal continues his conversation with the media.
Jerry Thompson, Ducks Illustrated. Jerry, you're muted.
Yeah, Coach.
the offense of the passing game seemed to improve a lot, Oregon State versus Utah. Was that more of the Ducks improving or the opponent? How's that going to carry over to the next game?
Well, I think there's been steady improvement and some dips along the way throughout the season. How does it carry over? Different schemes. So game plans are different. I think the repetitions of a Chris Hudson, of a Dante Thornton, a Troy Franklin, Devin Williams, the tight ends, all of them getting reps with Anthony Brown on a consistent basis, I think that showed up. And I think that will continue to improve and show up. So there's just a ton of focus, like today, for example, a ton of focus on technique and fundamentals, because at this time of year, those things typically deteriorate and they show up. And I'm talking the simplicity of a stance of a receiver, his release, his escape, because if the timing's not there and that ball now is a little bit behind or in front, the receiver reaches, he tips it, well, it's a pick and it goes the other way. So I just think you're seeing repetitions take their course and resulting in the betterment of the offense in the passing game. Protection was certainly better. That's always a big part of it as well. So I think all those things combined made for a better passing day and continued improvement going forward.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
Coach, I was wondering if you could give us some insight into the onside kick play, if you guys maybe could have been aligned differently, just anything you learned from that, and then just special teams in general, having been such a critical part of the Utah game down there, just how important making improvements there are going into this.
Yeah,
one.
we could have been aligned better and we could have reacted better too. Combination of both, and they were both part of the game plan. So we got to do a better job. Don't blame the players, blame it on the coaches.
AJ Jacobson, Rivals.
Coach, Verone McKinley's having a big year. A lot of people are starting to call him the general. How fitting is that?
It's a good name for him. Really fits well. Make a great T-shirt. Guy's real. He's what you want, man. He's what you want. He's what you want as team leader, a son, a player, teammate, future father. Some guys, he was raised right and he gets it. He's one of those guys, and just smart, physical, tough, resilient, relentless. Man, he's a special dude playing at a high level, and certainly a critical part of this the success of the program.
Max Torres, Ducks Digest.
Coach, the linebacker core has taken a lot of hits this year. Obviously, a lot of new faces rotated in there. Wanted to ask you about Jackson LeDuc and kind of what it's taken for him to get to the point where he's at after getting injured and seeing some snaps in some really critical games down the stretch here.
Great football player and a great competitor, and just has had some unfortunate injuries since his arrival. And for him to recover as fast as he did, and he marked it on the calendar. And even though he said, Coach, I'm going to be a little bit ahead of schedule, and come my birthday, I'm going to be ready to be playing towards the end of the year, week 11. And he did that, practiced really well. Thought he had some good play last week as well. And just, when you've been away that long, you got to shake off the rust a little bit. I think he did that. I think he provided some valuable and physical reps for us. Smart, tough, excellent tackler. Got a huge future here at Oregon. So we're thrilled to have him back.
Matt.
Popo and Brandon are two guys that play positions that don't get a lot of, attention because of what their position holds. But just your thoughts on how well they've played this second half of the season. Dorless was really good against Oregon State. Popo had a career day against Utah. And just what you need out of those two guys this second time around against Utah.
Nothing but their very best. You got against an offensive line like that, a running game like that, a team that is that heavily invested in play action and then can drop back as good as anybody in the country. You have to have your best. Proud of those guys, the way they've played. They've thrown it around. They have fought through nicks and bumps and injuries. They've just kept coming. They have been invaluable in the improvement of our run defense, which has improved dramatically from last year to this year. So proud of them. I lean on them. I press them. I challenge them. I push them. I'm sure they're tired of me, but that's all right. The scout team, credit to the scout team too. Those guys really do a good job trying to get after them, and they get bounced around by those two big bodies, and they still keep coming and throwing it around in there. So all in all, just fired up and proud of those guys.
Shane Hoffman, Daily Emerald.
Yeah, you mentioned Jamal Hill a second ago. He was so big last year in the title game with those 2 interceptions. It seems like he's slowly getting back up to speed. Now he's taking over for Bennett. I'm just curious, an assessment of his play and what he's been like, I guess, as a leader as well in practice, now that you mention it.
Well, to give you an indication of the type of leadership he's demonstrated, his teammates wanted him to be on the leadership council. The members of the leadership council, I should say, wanted him on there along with Stephen Jones and Jordan Happel. And they were added last week. And it's because of time invested, his heart. I mean, he cares, super high care factor, phenomenal teammate, hard worker, excellent football player. And I think you're right. You know, as the season's gone on, he's getting more and back. He's gotten into form and has played really well. And his best football is now in front of him. So he's had a great practice today. I know he's all over the field, so expecting him to have a great day.
James.
When you're in the 13th game in 14 weeks, Mario, and it's an opponent who plays the kind of style that they do, it's as physical and demanding a game as it is. What are you able to do in practice by way of emphasizing tackling? It's always, I guess, it's always an emphasis, but just in general, when you're going against the kind of team that they are, and particularly a running back like Thomas, who obviously was successful a couple of weeks ago, but is just a bigger guy. You haven't played a lot of running backs of his stature over the course of the season. Other than him. So just how are you able to emphasize the physicality when it's this late in the season?
Just like you said, mentioned right there, you got to emphasize the physicality. And since you can't tackle to the ground, like all teams around the country, we go thud, and thud's got to be real. You know, you got to thud up a ball carrier. By that, it means that everything except going to the ground, you know. So near leg, near shoulder, making sure that half placement is correct, shooting hands, wrapping up, and then making sure you're running your feet through contact, because their runners are contact plus 3 type guys. You see a lot of times there might be a collision 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, but it's 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 4 because they run their feet through contact, and they're big guys. Their O-line does a great job controlling the line of scrimmage, so there's no penetration. So they don't stop their feet. Those running backs are coming full head of steam before they break the plane of line of scrimmage and get into the second level of your defense. That's when the issues happen. So if you don't practice it, if you don't practice with physicality, and we're on a short week, so there are some modifications to make sure that we get to the game as fresh as we can, but also prepared. But if you don't take care of the line of scrimmage, and if you don't play physical football, then you're playing right into your opponent's hands.
Tyson.
What's it mean for the Pac-12 to have Lincoln Riley join the conference?
I mean, that's, again, USC's hire. Congratulations to them. But all of our focus is completely on Utah and our game on Friday.
Matt? Kind of along those lines. It's that time of the year now, Mario, where assistant coaches are being targeted for jobs. And fair enough, your name has been linked to other jobs for the last couple of weeks. Just your opportunity to talk about yourself, but more importantly, just how do you keep this team focused when there's distractions amplified because of just the nature of this type of year for the sport?
Well, I think it's the nature of the sport since forever, you know, and I think the noise comes at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and you're just always upfront and honest with them. You know, you always tell them exactly like it is. And if there's ever anything that does come up, you go to them and you tell them, you know, and when there's nothing to report, you make sure you tell them there's nothing to report. So it's that simple. We got good coaches. We have a good staff. We've had success. Naturally, people are going to come and try to poach our people. I think it's a compliment. It's a pain in the neck because, you know, year after year, you got to replace guys, but we're systematic. And we're systematic from a cultural standpoint as well. We do things a certain way. And when you come here to Oregon, you have to do things our way. We tweak schemes. We make adjustments. We make advances. We progress. But we do things a certain way. So for us and our players, they know us. We're honest with them, and there are no concerns.
Mario Cristobal, very honest answer there. And we've got more from the Oregon football head coach, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care. You can count on our friends at WVCI, always bringing you Coach Cristobal's weekly press conference, and a lot more from the head man after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, football is back! So consider this your official excuse for always putting football watching first, courtesy of Pepsi. That haircut appointment? Seeing the in-laws for the first time in ages?
It's been so long!
Nope, sorry Susan, not if it's on Sunday. Long story short, after the year we've all had, we think you could use a little football watching. So crack open a Pepsi and cheer your football watching face off. With love, Pepsi. Made for football watching. That's what I like.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack. We've got Oregon football in the Pac-12 Championship game. 5 o'clock kickoff against Utah. 3 o'clock pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network on Friday. The Ducks are playing the Pac-12 Championship game on a Friday because of the television schedule. ABC will broadcast the game. I'm looking forward to it. Allegiant Stadium, supposed to be really something in Las Vegas. Get a chance to see that and check it out. And the Ducks hoping for a great turnout of Duck fans. Tickets are on sale this evening to the public at 5 o'clock via GoDucks.com. If you're a Duck Athletic Fund or season ticket holder member, then you've got a personalized link already in your inbox. So check that out. We're going to hear from Oregon Volleyball coming up in a moment as they're heading to the postseason. Now we'll wrap things up, though, hearing from Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach.
AJ. Coach, I know you cross-train a lot of your offensive linemen, but TJ Bass has slid out to the tackle a lot this second half of the season, been extremely effective, both guard and tackle. What is it about his skill set that allows him to be so effective both inside and out?
Really athletic guy, really athletic at it's almost 6'6". He's about 320 pounds. You saw it in junior college. I mean, the guy was really impressive, really light on his feet, but heavy-handed. Played with a lot of power, really did. And now he was humongous. He'll probably hate me for saying it. He was like 360 pounds, so we had to trim him down. And all those guys come in here, 360, some up to 400 pounds. And, our place here is truly dedicated to the trenches. I know that's heavy talk at a lot of places, but when it comes to the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball here, it's real, always has been, and it shows, right? In the way guys are getting drafted and developing. TJ jumped into this regimen like full head of steam and attacked it. And what he demonstrated right away was, number one, super high football IQ. Secondly, tremendous power, and then balance and body control. So he could come off the ball and knock you back, but at the same time recover. He played tackle in junior college. Okay. So as smart as he was, as light on his feet, as athletic as he was, it was a natural progression for him to be able to get some reps outside as well whenever we felt certain matchups dictated that. So he did it. He's great, very patient with his hands, understands the timing, because the timing outside is very different than the timing inside. The spacing is very different as well. Special player, man, special player. And he just buckles up and goes to work every day. Not much talk, not much anything. He just wants to play hard, wants to work with his teammates, wants to win, wants to do the best he can by Oregon.
Ashley Adamson, Pac-12 Network.
Hey, Mario, just kind of on a personal note, I know you mentioned that you went back to see your mom. Just want to see how she's doing and sort of what the last 48 hours have been like for you personally.
She's fighting. So, and I appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers that sent them my way. I wish I could respond to every single person, but I do appreciate it. She's fighting. That's the best way to say it. And that's exactly what I expected to see out of her. And we're going to go day by day. And for me, it's been focused. There's a lot of people. We depend on each other here, and I was raised that way. So when there's a job to do, then nothing can compromise that. And so that's the approach. And it's been really good and really focused.
James.
Kind of following that, Mario, you hit on it there. Yes, it's always so task oriented. And you're a man who is wired the way you are. How are you able to compartmentalize, or how have you been able to compartmentalize when there's obviously something so serious on a personal level going on, and what sitting on a plane for 10 hours is like amid all that, and it's being human. You can allow yourself to be human while also caring and being devoted to the job.
Okay, I think you're trying to get like my, sentimental side out here. Okay, but I appreciate you, man. First of all, the jet's a lot faster than that. Okay, it got me there in 4 flat, and the headwinds made it 5 on the way back. So give Oregon air travel a little more credit than that. Okay, we play checkers there. I'm sorry, we play chess while others play checkers with that. But no, I appreciate you saying that. I think it goes back to, it's exactly what we tell our players. It's like, we train a certain way, so when things happen, you respond a certain way. I appreciate your question. I just had, my father, may he rest in peace, and my mom, who is fighting, they just raised my brother and I a certain way. They really did. Like, if she was able to tell me, she would have told me, you better turn that plane around and get right back to work. Don't waste any time here. That's how it is. And I respect that. I do 100%. I still, at 51, make sure I do exactly what is expected to me by how I was raised. So that's where it comes into play. And I think that's a good human trait. It's not trying to be a tough guy. It's not trying to, shield everybody out, block them away. It's just being real, respectful of the way I was raised, and understanding exactly what is at stake, all the people that depend on each other, and it's right. It feels right. So it's all good, man. It's all good. And I appreciate everybody. I really, really, because people have reached out like relentlessly. It's hard to express the amount of appreciation, but I'm good and I'm ready.
That's good stuff, man, from Mario Cristobal. Talking about a lot of different things with the media this week ahead of a 5 o'clock kickoff and a 3 o'clock pregame show for us on the Oregon Sports Network. Coming your way on Friday. We'll do Duck Insider Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Going to do the show a little bit early on Thursday, confirming a time for those of you who watch the show live. We're going to do the show a little bit early on Thursday so we can catch our flight to Las Vegas. And those of you who are tuning in across the Oregon Sports Network, or if you're listening on the podcast, well, then normal time for you guys on Thursday. But no show on Friday because we'll be getting ready for that 3 o'clock pregame and a 5 o'clock kick on ABC. Ducks and Utes, really candid answers from Coach, I think, all the way around. Great stuff from Coach Cristobal. We're going to get a timeout a little bit earlier than we normally would because we got some volleyball to talk about next. Matt Ulmer and his team, they're going dancing. And they got new shoes, by the way. Did you see these things? Check out social media. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back on Nugget Cider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. It's time for our Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Oregon Volleyball is going dancing. Going to hear from Matt Ulmer in just a moment. That, of course, following a really nice win for the Ducks to finish up the regular season against the Beavs. It was great to see Oregon Volleyball get the win, and then Oregon Football get the win this past weekend. Of course, Ducks now getting ready on the football side for that 5 o'clock kickoff on Friday against Utah in Las Vegas in the Pac-12 Championship game. And then this week, Oregon men's basketball and women's basketball looking for bounce backs themselves. 7 o'clock tonight, Oregon men taking on Montana, and a chance for the Ducks to get right after a couple tough losses out in Las Vegas. Oregon women's basketball 3:30 on Wednesday against UC Davis, and then Oregon men's basketball in the nightcap, Matthew Knight Arena, against UC Riverside. But Oregon volleyball on Thursday, they will take on the likes of Kansas in the NCAA tournament. Matt Ulmer talking about that with the media yesterday after the Ducks found out their selection fate.
I'm just really excited for our team. This has been a very long year. You know, they reported back the day after Christmas to start the spring season. And here we are about a year later, and we're going back to Omaha again, where we were just in April for however many days that was. Felt like a long time. So kind of a full circle deal. But this group has worked really hard. We've gone through a lot of stuff this year, as a lot of people have, but just proud of our perseverance and resiliency, and, just excited to go to Omaha and get a chance to keep playing.
Yeah, hey, Matt, what did you just think about how the seating shook out and just your positioning in the bracket and all that stuff? And, beyond wishful thinking, did you have any sliver of a hope that you might end up hosting this weekend?
I didn't think we were going to host. I thought our conference overall we didn't do what we needed to in the preseason, and I think that showed in the way that the seedings went. Whether it's justified or not, I don't know, but the way that the RPIs were going, that's kind of what it looked like would happen, and it did. But I think, we knew if we're not hosting, you're just going to go play really good teams on the road somewhere. And so it's going to be about us, and, can we play our best volleyball? And if we do, we'll have a chance against whoever we play. So I know we're really excited, and we're familiar with Omaha, and, there's a great fan base there. We know that. And Kansas is a very good team. Ole Miss on the other side playing Creighton is a good team. And Maggie Scott, our former setter, is the assistant coach there, so we're really excited to see her. A little Duck reunion. And Creighton is fantastic. So I think it's a really talented quad, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, Coach, can you just kind of summarize up how you thought this regular season went? I know there were a few bumps in the road with injuries, but how'd you think it go?
Yeah, I thought injuries are my least favorite part. And, we definitely had our fair share this year between Brooke and Georgia and Taylor Borup twice, and among others. And it just felt like we didn't have kind of what I thought our opening weekend lineup, we didn't have healthy here until the end again. So first weekend to last weekend. So I thought we looked pretty good this past week. And, I know the group is really excited to play their best volleyball here, in the upcoming weeks, and we get to do that.
Yeah, what is the snapshot right now of how healthy you are relative to the last few weeks, and then just kind of, how well you think you're playing? You want to be at your best going in the postseason. So are you anywhere close to that?
Yeah, I'm not really sure about Kylie yet, but I think everybody else, you're always going to be banged up this time of year, right? It's like I said, it's been a long year for everybody. But I thought our energy looked really good. I thought we were jumping well and moving well this past week. And I know this, when you get to this point, you just get re-energized even more so, right? And so it's a fresh start in a lot of ways. And I think the group is just really excited for this opportunity, and we're excited to see what we can do.
Brooke said she thought that just for as wacky as the experience in the spring was, that, your younger players could really build off that and go into this time around with a little just more poise, a little more knowing what they're going to face. For you, in the context of the big picture, it was such a weird year, but for anybody who that was their only postseason experience, can that have been beneficial as you go into another one this time around?
We had very little postseason experience, going into this calendar year. Brooke in 2018 on that group, obviously had a great run, but that was as a libero, not as a leading scorer on the outside. Taylor Borp, played, but outside of that, it was nothing. So 2020, the spring was, I thought, really important. It definitely had playoff atmosphere vibes, even though it was very different being in a bubble. But the pressure was there, the pageantry was there, all that, the expectations, playing really high level competition. So I think that was important for us. We did not handle it well when we played Purdue. We did a nice job against Notre Dame. And as soon as we finished that Purdue match, we talked about preparing ourselves to do better, handling that this time around. And, here we are in this, with this opportunity to see if we grew, if we grew as volleyball players, if we grew as teammates, if we grew in maturation. And, I think we're looking forward to that challenge.
A lot of great stuff there from Matt Ulmer because, it was a very weird deal. The Sweet 16 appearance during that unprecedented spring season. Now the Ducks are getting ready for what is a more normal postseason environment for Oregon volleyball, and that's coming up on Thursday. The Ducks will take on Kansas. Full details on GoDucks.com. Ducks are going to be traveling tomorrow, so our usual conversation with Matt Ulmer, we won't have it, and I'm going to miss him. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad that we're not going to have him with us because the Ducks are in postseason. Would have been nice to host, but as he said, the Pac-12 maybe didn't win as much as they would have liked in the early season, in the non-conference season, and now they got to go prove it in the postseason. Who cares if you win your games in the non-conference season? Just go win them in the postseason. No one's going to remember. Yeah, we hope so. That's what the Ducks are going to be rooting for the entire Pac-12, and if you're Oregon, I think being a team that has some of that experience now from last year, as long as they learn how to handle those nerves in these environments that they're going to be in with Creighton as the host, I like Oregon's chances. I really like Oregon's chances. That's your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Cafe Yum restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington, serving Northwest-inspired catering and takeout for your next gathering or meeting. Menus, cafeyum.com. Basketball tonight. Back to Matthew Knight Arena, and let's hope the Ducks right the ship after what was a tough trip to Las Vegas. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip. The Ducks taking on the Grizz of Montana. I'll be there. See you tomorrow, everybody.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Adopt